I just talked to a family member of last week's video, and she was looking through the red flags and said, I can see this and I can see this in hindsight. Unfortunately, in hindsight, it doesn't have to be in hindsight if I can teach you this now. If you can learn it before there's a murder.
I don't have the words for this. Calls like these are absolutely shocking and devastating. I just know that this senseless act of violence will cause ripples of grief and pain to the victims' loved ones and family. Excuse me.
March 15th, 2022, police were dispatched to the Superior Brokerage Services Complex on reports of a woman on fire around 9 a.m. Responding officers found 44-year-old Kelli Goodermont severely burned, unresponsive, and not breathing. First responders attempted to save her life, but she was declared dead by paramedics around 9:04 a.m. There were witnesses to this attack. In fact, a co-worker of Kelli's saw Patrick Simmons, 47, and Kelli talking that morning. She then saw what looked like Simmons punch Kelli, and she fell to the floor, after which he poured a liquid all over her, according to the criminal complaint. Another one of Kelli's co-workers responded to the incident when they heard somebody yelling, "Fire! Fire! Someone call the ambulance!" And they saw Kelli running back and forth, her body engulfed in flames. That co-worker got a fire extinguisher and worked to put the flames out. And as they did, Simmons reportedly kicked Kelli while she was on the ground, on fire. By the time that the employee got the fire out on her, Kelli wasn't moving. Simmons, who had a lighter, lunged at that co-worker, and according to that co-worker, had a crazy and evil look in his eyes. Simmons reportedly fled the scene in a Chevy Cruze. He went directly from there to his house, which he set on fire also. Co-workers of Kelli's went to his home and found him parked nearby, flagged down police that were responding to the fire incident at the warehouse, and alerted them to Simmons' location. Simmons was quickly arrested. His clothes were bloody, his face was covered in soot, and his hair and eyebrows were singed. Well, if you are new here, my name is April Hardy. I am a survivor of domestic violence, intimate partner homicide threats, stalking, the whole like. And I believe that it is my mission as a survivor to be a voice for people like Kelli who can't be a voice for themselves. If you're not new here, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you for helping me to grow this channel, get this information out there, and save lives. The Ramsey County Medical Examiner's Office said Kelli ultimately died from stab wounds that she had to her face, her neck, and her shoulder that punctured her jugular veins. Under questioning by police, Simmons went on about her being a witch, men in devil masks, and a contract on his life.
Patrick Simmons wanted Kelli dead because she was, quote, a witch who hurt kids.
He said that he threw gasoline on Kelli and lit it with his lighter. When police asked where he got the gas, he replied, "I got the gasoline at my house, so yeah, it's premeditated." He also admitted to stabbing her at least 6 times. Simmons alleged that he had been planning this crime for weeks, and he said that he burned his house down because of paranormal activity that was going on there.
Neighbors and friends say he struggled with mental health and often repeated his belief that the devil was in everything and everyone.
Read his Bible every night. He would do like where you go around the house with certain smoke and try and pray it away, and he did rituals like that for many months.
Now, when we get into the history, you're going to find out that he has a history of mental health issues, but I feel like the mental health thing, the insanity plea type of stuff that seems to be going on in this case is false, or at least false enough, because he premeditated this murder and he has issues supposedly, but he didn't harm anybody else that was there. He didn't have anybody else there fall into the delusion that he was supposedly having, except for his ex-girlfriend, who he had a history of abuse with and who had left him, including kicking her on the ground after he had stabbed her multiple times and while she was on fire. Nobody else was involved. Nobody else happened to fall into this magical delusion of his craziness, and it was premeditated. He had been planning it for weeks. So I would love to know why he got charged with second-degree murder, which carries a maximum sentence of 40 years. Because somebody is obviously buying into this whole he's mentally unfit concept. But mentally unfit people do not plan a murder for weeks. And delusional people do not only attack a specific person who happens to be their ex that they're mad at, and not anybody else. You can't control your delusions if you're delusional. It's not like you can just magically make everybody else go away, including the person that was fighting him, in a sense, when he was trying to put the flames out on Kelli when Kelli was burning and Simmons was trying to kill her. If he would have been delusional, he would have considered that a fight or a battle to save this witch that he believed Kelli to be.
Court documents also show that Simmons lunged at that coworker who had to put out the fire, but then simply walked right out of that warehouse building.
What are your thoughts? Simmons made his first court appearance in Ramsey County Court via Zoom on Thursday morning.
Patrick Simmons is charged with murder. Court records show he had been physically abusive in the past. Simmons told investigators he had been planning to kill Goodermont for weeks. He is scheduled to appear in court tomorrow morning. If you or someone you know needs help, you can call the number on your screen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
His appointed defense attorney, John Reimer, requested a Rule 20 mental health evaluation, which was granted by Judge Ronaldo Aligada. Bail was set at $2 million, with the judge citing public safety concerns and allegations that Simmons had fled from police following the alleged murder, probably because he went home. And then he didn't stay at his home. He was parked nearby. Arson charges in Hennepin County are still pending. Kelli worked as a dispatcher at Superior Brokerage Services in St. Paul, Minnesota, where she was killed, and Simmons worked as a truck driver in that same building, according to his father. They had known each other for years and had actually had a romantic relationship for almost a decade, which began in 2010. She had reportedly recently broken up with him. If I understand it right, I'm thinking that it was last year when she filed her most recent protection order, but we'll get to that. One news article said that even before Kelli was murdered by him, her longtime boyfriend had already taken her life from her. And I believe that that's accurate for a lot of domestic violence victims. Simmons had a history of domestic violence, psychological problems, and assault, according to court records.
Her family telling me Simmons' behavior had grown increasingly violent and bizarre, so much that last year a U of M doctor petitioned to have him committed.
He had a criminal history in Minnesota that included numerous convictions for assault. And something that really frustrated me with this case, and it's not exclusive to this case, news media was quick to report that in 2021, Kelli got a protection order against him. In it, she said that he assaulted her, had threatened to kill her, and drugged her without her knowledge. They were quick to report that she got it and that she went back and asked for it to be dismissed after a month. What most of them have failed to report is that that protection order in 2021 was her second protection order against him, not the first.
Kelli's former husband, Tyler Goodermont, said the two of them filed separate orders of protections against Simmons, one in 2018, another last year, fearful for their children's safety and Kelli's.
In fact, the two had shared a home for a lot of years, up until 2018, when she filed her first protection order against him.
That order of protection ran out, and then she got another one, but she dropped it.
Those filings detailed their concerns about Simmons' access to guns, his drug use, and mental health.
Kelli's boss had reported that she had had a black eye in the past, which she had gotten from Simmons. Other co-workers told police that Kelli had shown them photos of different injuries that had happened from him. So this was not a hush-hush thing. It was very publicly known among the people that loved her, unfortunately.
It wasn't super shocking that it was Pat who did this and took it to this degree.
In 2018, he was charged with misdemeanor domestic assault involving Kelli, and he pled guilty to disorderly conduct. So they let him plead down from a misdemeanor domestic violence charge.
Oh, I knew this was going to happen 2 years ago. He was just abusive and just mean to Kelli.
In 2013, so we're going back 9 years now, another Twin Cities woman had sought a protection order against Simmons. In it, she said that he was extremely abusive and would call her incessantly. And unless my math is off, if they were together for almost a decade, 9 years would fall into that time that him and Kelli were together. Or this woman's relationship with him was just before him and Kelli started. Either way, it's significant to Kelli and it's significant to him. It shows that the abusive belief system that he has is like, it's a belief system. It's set. Unless somebody gets help for this, it's not going to change. If he got out and dated somebody again, it'd be the same thing the next time and the next time. Because the problem is the belief system in this man. His dad said that Patrick Simmons was fixated on the occult and devil worship. He said that they were out to get him, and his dad said that he thought he was going crazy, but had been doing good in terms of not drinking and doing drugs, which means he had a history of drinking and doing drugs. And he had delusions. He was fixated on the occult and on devil worship. And some people say delusions, and I don't have any idea what this guy's delusions were, so there probably are delusions. I also believe in demonic stuff, and he's screwing with demonic stuff. Either way, he was seeing things and thinking things. Kelli sought a protection order against him in 2021, which she dropped a month later. She detailed that Simmons had kept her from people that she cared about, also that he had held a loaded gun to her head. But he was hospitalized for psychosis and receiving treatment at that time.
Noting a neighbor said the suspect was trying to shoot the green men in his yard. That same month, U of M Medical Center documents were filed saying the suspect's behavior shows he's mentally ill and the court should commit him to a treatment facility.
So either she was afraid that the protection order would make his psychosis worse, like the stress of having to do with that, or she very likely believed that because he was being hospitalized and he was being treated that he would be better and he wouldn't be a threat anymore. She very likely believed that he finally was getting the help that he needed for her to be okay. I 100% can understand why you would think that way or hope that way and then act the way that she did. He ruined her life, said Tracy Kennedy, a childhood friend, adding that her friend could never get away from Simmons because she was, quote, terrified of what he would do to the people she loves.
Our common theme is just how do we prevent this from happening again? How do we keep her daughters from falling into the same cycle?
Kennedy and the rest of Goodermont's friends now want to bring attention to the tragic outcomes of domestic violence.
Even when you think it can't get this bad, it can.
Kelli was from Bloomington, Minnesota. She was the mother to 3 daughters, Chattisy, Sierra, and Taylor, who were her world. She graduated from Bloomington Jefferson High School in 1996, and her friends have always called her Ranning. We are all devastated over this unimaginable loss, Kim Esso, a childhood friend, said. Kim described Kelli as such an incredible spirit. She had such a quiet toughness about her, while also having the sweetest, most thoughtful heart of anyone in the world.
She was a great mom. Just feel so bad for my kids.
She had the biggest heart of anyone I've ever known, but she also had the most quiet toughness to her, Tracy Kennedy said. She was guarding all of her inner turmoil. She was a beautiful friend, mother, and sister, and would have done anything for anyone. But there were people like Simmons who took advantage of her thoughtfulness and kindness, said Kennedy, who met Goodermont when they were in first grade.
If you see all of our old pictures, we're just a tight group.
One that is feeling immense pain over her killing.
Oh, she was such a light.
That friend circle has been texting each other nonstop, consoling one another through the immense pain over her killing and over the frustration of who did it.
I want her memory to bring smiles and laughter like it used to always. You know, before it got too dark, she was the girl who could walk into a room and light it up with either her snarky comments, her bright smile. I love her so much, and we want justice for her family.
She worked hard to take care of her daughters, said Kristen, who considered Kelli one of her best friends in high school. We're all praying for justice, and she asked people to pray for Kelli's daughters. and to consider donating to the GoFundMe page that they have created. Their mama was stolen from this world. Rest in peace, sweet Kelli. No more hiding. No more hurt. Fly free and enjoy a better view from the peaceful skies. We will all be ready to give you hugs and love on the other side. If you are concerned about somebody else, or if you are afraid in your romantic relationship or your unromantic romantic relationship, reach out for help, please. Contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline. You can call them at 1-800-799-7233, or you can text START to 88788. So many people were aware of the situation in Kelli's life. Obviously, I don't have the full story, but it breaks my heart that so many people knew, and obviously the red flags were there because her friends were saying, I wasn't surprised by this, honestly. Help me inform other people of what the red flags are. Help me teach them and save lives. Thank you very much. Truly, I am grateful for your watching. I'm grateful for your comments. I am happy to hear from you. Until I see you again, stay safe.
A homicide at a St. Paul warehouse, a house fire in Bloomington, a horrific ending to a situation it seems no one saw coming.